Emma Frost from Phoenix Force is here. That's right, this is a custom statue. It is statue number 4 out of 5 of a complete Phoenix Force line. Even though this is the 4th one they've released, it's actually the most anticipated. And today I want you to pay close attention because I'm going to drop some hints for something really big. Hey guys, my name is Mr. X, this is the Extreme Channel. I'm coming at you with another custom X-Men piece. Now this one's a little bit different. You may know who Emma Frost is, or maybe you don't. Emma Frost is a common X-Men villain who has a couple different powers. In the last decade or so, she was popularized by X-Men First Class, the live-action movie that had her. However, this is not that version of Emma Frost. As I said in the intro, this is part of the Phoenix 5 or the Phoenix Force. Now, essentially, that's a storyline from the Dark Phoenix Saga where Jean Grey, or Dark Phoenix, her powers split into 5 different people. I actually own the first 3 statues of that storyline. I've reviewed them all. The first one right here that I got in was Cyclops. You can tell this is a very different looking Cyclops than most people are used to. Second one was Magic. If you're unfamiliar with Magic, she's a badass chick with horns and a big sword, but kind of an offshoot X-Men character, even though some people absolutely love her. The third one I got in was Namor, this piece right here, and that's how I pronounce it. You'll have to deal with it. So as I said, Emma is the 4th edition. The 5th edition probably isn't coming out for another few months or till next year. Or is it? Now, if you want to know more about this storyline, I'm going to do a video of all 5 pieces together, including XM Studios' Dark Phoenix. I think it'll look awesome seeing them all on the table together right here, and we'll kind of dive into that story. So we'll have to wait till we get all those characters, so you should see that video next week. Now, before we dive into this, as I said, this is a custom, and I want to talk about that for a second. I own and review tons of custom statues. Again, I say this all the time, customs are private, unlicensed commissions, and generally, 99.9% of the time when they're on this table, they're completely sold out. Usually they sell out 1 or 2 years or more before they are even released. And most of the producers of these pieces wish to have a certain level of anonymity. And not very often, but sometimes I get backlash from people watching the channel, becoming a mad primate that I won't share that information with them. I mean, come on, don't be a furious ape just because I'm respecting the wishes of the commissioners. There are no conspiracy theories, they just don't want their information out there because they're unlicensed pieces, and they typically don't need help selling them out. As I said, they usually sell out years before they're even released. And this particular piece right here, I think she's the most anticipated in the line, which we're going to find out in a review today why that is. But before we do, check this out. As a thank you to you guys, we're giving away these 2 exclusive Mortal Kombat statues from Pop Culture Shock Toys. We've already given away this Sub-Zero. It's being shipped to the winner of the 15,000 sub giveaway. Up for grabs at 17,500 subs is this exclusive Scorpion statue. First thing you need to do is make sure you've liked this video, you subscribe to the channel, and you've hit that bell notification. Second thing is we are going to pick random videos. This is one of those random videos, and insert this segment somewhere. You need to make sure you comment on that video. We are going to pick a random comment from one of said videos, and you will be the winner of this Scorpion statue. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about with Emma is the concept. And what's interesting about this concept is it's kind of boring, but I love it. And you're going to find out some of the reasons for that. One big reason I can tell you right now is it completes the line, or almost completes the line. The line will be completed very, very soon. Hint, hint. And one of the reasons for that is this base. So it has a standard black museum-style base. You guys know I'm not a fan of these museum-style bases, but I like it when they all match together. And they all match together with the black museum-style base, and then the Phoenix Force emblem right on the front. And then as you move up, they all have a very similar rock-type base. Now, Namor had some water. Cyclops had a fire hydrant, because that's awesome to put on a base. Here it's just rocks, which I don't mind. Granted, it could be a little bit more entertaining. It'll be interesting to see if the coloring of these rocks matches the rest of the rocks in the other line, and we'll see that on the video we do them all together. Emma herself is clearly in a Victoria's Secret runway competition. So first she's got these boots that are 3 times longer than her legs. I never really dug these on chicks. There's a zipper. You know, I just think about maybe that zipper might get stuck, then you have to throw out the whole boots. But she has these boots going all the way up to her upper thighs. She has very long legs, which is kind of sexy. And as you move up, very scantily dressed. I don't like the over-sexualization of characters, and they did that here, and I'm not a fan of it, but I don't think it ruins the statue. What's really cool, though, you can definitely tell she's walking, because her, I would call this a cape, but they're not really capes. They're attached to her arm, kind of robes or flowing things. You can tell I'm clearly not a Calvin Klein of fashion, but they're flowing in the wind, walking behind her. It really shows a lot of power with this piece, which I think is awesome. Granted, it doesn't show her showing off any of her powers, but she still looks powerful, or she looks badass, like no one can mess with her. And God, if I looked like that, I think I'd get what I wanted too. But again, very sultry. She's a very sexual woman. She's got a nice curvy ass. She's got a big rack. Let's call a spade a spade. And she's very determined. She has a couple different portrait switch outs. Both have her hair kind of flowing back in the wind. Both have her focused on where she's going to go. And I love both portraits. I'm going to actually keep them both out because I definitely think it's something I'm going to swap a lot. So like I said, it's really kind of boring. She's just walking on a similar base to the rest. But for some reason, I think it's going to look fantastic with that entire line. Now, with that being said, I obviously always wish it would show some kind of her power. Now, there is, I think, some paint QC issues, which we can pretend that's her showing some of her power, so we'll talk about that. For that reason, I love what they did with a simple museum piece. I love the way the clothing is flowing. I've never really seen that before. It's done incredibly well, which is more of a design thing. But I think the concept's a 3 out of 5. You know, the base is plain. She's not doing anything fancy other than walking. But I still love it, even though I have to objectively try and give it a 3 out of 5. Now, as we jump into the design of the piece, it's fairly simple as well, other than these long flowing robes back here, or I don't know what the hell to call these. Put in the comments below what I should call these. But actually, first let me show you how they assembled. Standard box for a quarter size scale piece. Little bit of an art box on the side of it, just saying what the piece is. Came with straps instead of tape, which is always nice, a lot cleaner. And it was 2 layers. The first layer had her capes, or whatever you call them, plus her portraits. Then the other layer was the very heavy base and her body. All right, so fairly lightweight, which is smart. This base is incredibly heavy. I think it's heavier than all the rest of them, which I'm not sure what's going on with that, but it is what it is. Let's get the dimensions. So her height, now she's 1/4 scale, meaning 4 times smaller than a real life version of her. She's about 19.5 inches. The widest point is the base. It's about 12 inches. And then the depth, because of her clothing, is almost 18 inches. So that's something to keep in mind with the display options. But as I said, extremely strong magnets right here. Let's look at the 2 different portraits that I love. So this first one right here is very beautiful. I think they nailed the sculpt on the portrait. The next one, I guess this one could be showing her powers a little bit, with her hair kind of flying up in the air and then her eyes whited out. So I'll probably be displaying that one for that reason, although I do like this one better. So pretty simple design, not really a lot of things going on, but with the lightweight material and these heavy magnets and how these flow, I think I give them a lot of props for that. I think you only need 2. Both portraits are fantastic, so I think the design's a 4 out of 5 on this piece. So with the paint and sculpt, let's dive right in. So I'm gonna let you know right now, the base and the hair, I think were painted by the person who got fired, and the rest was painted by somebody who does really good work. But standard museum base has this shiny gloss to it, nothing great, nothing amazing. The ring right here around it looks more silver than it does yellow. So again, it'll be an interesting contrast because I think the others were more of a goldish. On the base right here, the rocks, they look okay. I think the sculpt could have been a little bit better. I said this in the last review right here. But one thing you'll notice in the paint, you see all this tiny white crap everywhere, and this is paint. This isn't foam or anything like that. I don't know if it's a QC issue, but because she can turn into diamond or this crystal-like form, you can pretend it's some of that. She's commonly known with snow in the cold, if you want to say that. But then if you move up, the paint job like on her boots is fantastic. Not only is it fantastic just because it's really clean, but there's some awesome stuff going on with the shading. In different lights, you see kind of a blue and gold flicker off of her outfit. You'll see that in more places besides her boots, but the sculpt is also really well done. I like the folds in it. There's this texture, the straps all around it. Those zippers, just very clean on that zipper paint. Really impressed with that, and the gold trim all the way up the side and the buckles. Then let's look at her anatomy. Like I said, very sexy, very voluptuous. She's got these a little bit larger thighs, a little bit of a larger ass, but it looks great, don't get me wrong. I like the skin tone they used a lot. It looks very real, like very realistic looking skin. She obviously doesn't get out in the sun much, but I love the flesh tones that they used. Then you have more of the straps that hold this garment that covers her torso right here. Huge cleavage, which is fantastic. And again, I love the color on this. It's kind of a mix between silvers and golds and yellows, and has this reflective, almost blue color that reflects off the cape really well. It's fantastic looking under the right lights. Then her sleeves right here have some very apparent blue in them, and it's almost too much blue. I think they were trying to match it with whoever painted the cape, where the blue is shaded in and out, and that looks really good with the gold trim. And there's a lot of white on this statue, and it's not too much. I think it looks fantastic. It contrasts well, and again, I think it's because of that some of that shading they added in there. Take a look at her hands here. Great paint job on her hands. Again, the great flesh tones, and then you can even see her painted nails. And then first, let's look at her portrait. Very beautiful. So very heavy on the makeup, very heavy on the eyeliner, stuff like that. But I think it works really well with her. The sculpt is incredible. You know, people always complain about female portraits. They did a fantastic job on this one. Now, the hair is my biggest complaint. It looks like it was spray painted on, and it's this gold color. I don't know if they meant to do that. It's almost a little bit too gold. Thankfully, Mrs. X is into repainting, so I might have her do something. But some of it looks like it's caked on. So not the best. And then also, some of the paint even takes away from... And then also, some of the paint even takes away from the sculpt, unfortunately, because it's caked on like that. But check out the other portrait. So biggest difference here, a little bit different expression around her mouth. But again, fantastic paint job all over the portrait. Fantastic sculpt. I like how her eyes are whited out. They're not completely white. There's kind of this gloss on them, so that looks really, really cool. You know, I think I do like this portrait better, actually. So maybe I should put the other one back in the box. But let's talk about the sculpt first. I think the sculpt is fantastic. It's not perfect. The rocks on the bottom could have definitely been better. And then again, I can't tell if the hair, if it's a sculpt issue, if it's a print issue, if it's a paint issue. But the rest of it, really well done. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5 on the sculpt. Almost tempted to go 4, but it's fantastic. This will be really highly sought after. Paint, if I ignored these two issues that we talked about, it would be a solid 4. But I think those two issues, you know what, I'm still going to give it a 4 because I'm not really looking at the top of her head. I'm not looking at the base that much. I'm really looking at her and everything in between. So I think it's still a 4 out of 5. Now let's talk about value on this piece. So they made 80. I think that's the most they've made of any of these characters, which is interesting because one would think if you're going to collect them, aren't you getting the whole line? Well, so obviously some people only have some characters in the line, and I think this is probably one of the best Emma's ever made, even though she is a Phoenix Force edition. You could easily fit her in with a regular X-Men collection. Retail was right around $900, $950, and then it was a couple $100 for DHL shipping, which isn't bad. You guys saw the box, so definitely got a decent price on shipping. It wasn't being marked up at all. So initially, when I think, $1,200 for a 1/4 scale piece, that's really hard to swallow.
That's what she said.
But also with value, I look at, can I get my money back? Absolutely. I think I could sell this for $1,500, if not $2,000 tomorrow, especially for people that have some of the other line. So I think the value is a 4 out of 5 on this piece because the resale value will be very good on this. Now, overall, is she an X statue? Is she a 5 out of 5? I would say this. If she really showed some of her power besides just the whited out eyes and kind of hair going crazy, if they'd showed something else, it would have been that 5 out of 5 statue. I think the line is probably going to be a 5 out of 5 together. But individually, I would love to have her without the line. I'm ecstatic that I'm getting the entire line very soon. And I think she's a 4 out of 5. She's not a grail. But what I call a rail, W-R-A-I-L, are a statue people would really want. So let me know your thoughts on this sexy bitch. And I'm glad that I'm actually finally a little bit more tan than her. Finally got some sun in COVID 2020. Took 11 months to do it. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Check out some of these other custom statues. And if you want to see that video with the 5th piece and also the entire line together, make sure you've hit that Mr. X logo to subscribe and hit that bell notification. Until tomorrow. Don't touch my Emma.